Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 12.5. We're dealing with graphs again, so it's going to be a little dark, but here we go. You're going to be able to draw and interpret line graphs. Now if you've worked on my stock project and done the graphs, this should be pretty easy for you. So what is a line graph? Well, here's an example of one, and you can see that it's basically connecting the dots with lines. That's what a line graph is. A graph that shows data, how data changes over time. So if we're looking at this, we have the Earth's population. All right, so the time is going to be your x, all right, your left to right, and the amount will be your y, up and down. All right, so looking at this line graph, in the year 1750, there was about, now this is population of millions, so it would be 1,000 times a million would be the answer, okay? 1,000 in millions. And the year, let's say 1950, it would be about 2,500 times 1 million. And look at, as you can see over time, what's great about line graphs, as you could see over time, the Earth's population was steadily growing, steadily growing, steadily growing, and then growing faster. And then from 1950 to 2000, our population has really started to grow quickly. So line graphs can show you that sort of thing. All right, let's make a line graph just by looking at data. All right, this might be a little fudgy, but it says number of building permits filed in a major city. So we have the years right here and the amount over there. So the years is our x and the amount is our y. So in 2009, there were 16,000 permits filed. So I go to 2009, all up to 1600, and there's my first dot. I'm going to make it nice and big to see. Now, if you notice over here, it starts at 0, then jumps to 2009. That's why there's a little squiggle on the chart right there. Now, you might not be able to see it, but in your books, if you skip over time, then you'll do that little squiggle, because it was at 0, then it jumped to 2009, and then it had the same intervals going along, 1 year at a time intervals. Okay, that one's done. In 2010, 15,500. So we'll go to 2010, go to, well, there is no 15,000. 15,000 would be about there, but it's a little bit, it's halfway between 15 and 16, so I'm going to put my dot right there, and then I could connect it. All right, 2011, 13,900, so I go to 2011, 13,900 is pretty much almost to 14,000, so I'm pretty much on that line, and then I connect. 2012, 11,000. So as you can see, the permits being filed are going down throughout the year. So 11,000 in 2012 should be right in between 2010 and 2000, or sorry, 10,000 and 12,000. Connect those dots. Moving along, 2013, 8,200. So there's 2013. 8,000's right there. A little bit more than 8,000. It doesn't have to be exact when you're guessing in between the lines. And then I connect. And finally, 2014, only 5,900 permits filed. So that's basically 6,000. So I go right below, barely below the 6,000, and connect my line. Now, to interpret this, all right, we could see that over time, people are not filing permits anymore in the city, or not as much. I don't know why, but I could look at the data and say there's a downward trend. All right, so maybe 2013 it might go back down still. So if I'm interpreting this, I'm going to say, well, in the next 5, 7, 10 years, there might be less than 2,000 permits. All right, unless things change. All right, so interpreting line graphs, we just talked about a little bit. What might the plant growth be at 7 weeks? So I need to erase this, of course. So we have plant growth. After 1 week, the height in inches was almost 2 inches. It was probably 1.8, okay? And then after 2 weeks, it was 2 inches. 3 weeks, it was 4 inches. 4 weeks, it was a little more than 6. And after 5 weeks, it was at 8 inches. So if I'm looking at a trend here, what would it be at 7 weeks? So if I'm following this, it started off growing slow, but the last 1, 2, 3 weeks, it's gone on a steep incline. It's gone about, I don't know, from 2 to, this goes from 2 to 4, so that's plus 2. From here goes from 4 to 6, that's plus 2. And from here goes to 6 to 8, that's plus 2. So, but I'm seeing it sort of leveling off a little bit there. I'm going to say it's going to go about 2 inches every week here. So after 6 weeks, it might be close to 10. It looks like it's leveling off a little bit. And after 7 weeks, it'd probably be about another close to 12, maybe more like 11. All right, so an appropriate answer for this would be anywhere between 11 and 12. All right, now will the plant really grow? We don't know the plant that well enough. It might stop growing. It might have got to full mature like me. I stopped growing when I was probably in 5th grade. I stayed at 5'6". This plant might stop growing, it might not, but if I'm looking at the trend, I'm going to say my best educated guess that after 7 weeks, it'll be about 11 or 12 inches tall. All right, so you have a little bit of homework for me tonight. You don't have to do much interpreting, but you do have to make a line graph for the following data. World's tropical rainforests. All right, the year and the remaining tropical rainforest in millions of acres. All right, so this is kind of in the way. Let me move that down out of the way so you can see those words. So what you have to do is your X, remember your left to right, will be your years. And then vertically, your Y will be your remaining tropical rainforest, millions of acres. So you have to label your graph. You have to label that as your Y-axis, and you have to label that as your X-axis. All right? Now, the numbers, since you're going, it looks like you're going from 2,875 all the way down to 825. So your increments or your frequencies might want to be counting by, I don't know, maybe 500ths. So you could have 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500. That might be a good increment. If you're going by thousands, that's probably too big of a jump. Then all your data will be smushed together. I would say 500 is good. Maybe 300, 400, your choice, but 500 is probably the easiest to do. All right, good luck, and we'll see you soon.